talking about oil prices, there's a piece in the E&E News today. Oil and gas drilling hits lowest levels since 1949. And we certainly know that our friends in the Bakken here in Montana and North Dakota, they've been getting hit hard as well. Getting hit really hard. And we know that there's jobs all as far away as Bozeman and Billings that benefit from the production taking place in the oil patch. So when will we see a return? Well, already apparently as cities across the country are starting to reopen, we're seeing that demand reappear, and it's rallying oil prices. Here with us, thanks to our friends at Fox News Radio, Jay Young is the founder of King Operating and the author of The Upside of Oil and Gas Investing. Jay, thanks for being with us.
Thank you very much, Aaron, for having me on. And I will say that all proceeds from the book, if somebody would like to buy the book, no net proceeds go to 22 Kill. 22 veterans a day. I know it has nothing to do with what you talked about, but I wanted to mention it because it's dear to my heart. 22 veterans a day commit suicide, and when they come back for more, and I feel very strongly, and we need to get the word out. But anyway, I'm sorry.
Never apologize for that, because here in Montana we've got one of the highest numbers of veterans per capita in the country, and literally just this weekend I ran into two different families who've been affected by that very issue. So thanks for doing that.
Wow.
Thanks for doing that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
I know I don't take the thunder away, but you're right. Oil prices are coming back, and they were up 90% in the month of May, which is great for, the royalty owners and the schools and the taxes and just everybody in your area, because we need to produce oil. We need that. And when Russia and Saudi Arabia flood the market with oil and bring down those prices, as a matter of fact, when they flood the market in the pandemic and prices went negative, there was a lot of people running from the hills, I guess, and scared to death. And I wrote an article in Forbes that said, hey, you know what? Oil's going to be back at $65 a barrel by the end of the year. And was I afraid of that? Yes. But also, I was also thinking about, if oil prices stayed that low, we are going to have a supply problem by the end of the year, because they're going to shut wells in. A well declines anyway with production. That's just what they do. And with rig count down so much, we're going to have a supply problem. And when we have a supply problem, oil prices are going to go up.
Yeah.
As they've done.
And in fact, actually, I saw in North Dakota, where the bulk of the Bakken production takes place, the governor there was actually considering, and I didn't see what eventually ended up happening with that, but they were considering taking displaced oil workers and putting them to work, actually capping those wells. So you wrote that piece for Forbes, thinking that, hey, by the end of this year, because I've talked with the head of our petroleum association here in Montana a while back, and he thought by first quarter of next year we should see a rebound. But you think by the end of this year, do you still think it could get to $65 a barrel by the end of this year?
Yeah, and I tell you, when I when I put that out there, my PR lady was like, Kim Francis, she was like, oh, Jay, and I said, hey, I didn't know the pandemic was going to happen. I didn't know a lot of things, but I feel like that it will get back to the 50s and 60s by the end of this year, first quarter of next year. I think 65 is a good target, but it either price, the Bakken is back, and people are going back to work, and one rig in the shale play produces or generates like $100 million a year in revenue for the cities and the restaurants and salaries, and nothing better than getting that price above $50 to $60 a barrel, and then people back behind the rigs that want to that generate that $100 million feel more comfortable putting money out there when oil prices do go to $50, $60 a barrel. So, yes, I think we'll see. it.
And it gives
still optimistic.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, and it gives even more, certainty to our folks in the refineries across the state of Montana as well. And yeah, we love our low gas prices, but we also understand here in a state like Montana that there's a balance. It's just like we love it when our food costs less, when we can buy cheaper beef at the store, but at the same time, we don't want it to be so cheap to where it kicks our cattle producers out of market, because they're what's so important to us culturally and economically. And economically, we also understand the importance of oil, gas, and coal here, because we got engineers in Bozeman and Billings that are supporting work being done out there. We got people who are buying homes in places like Billings and then commuting out to the oil fields, and maybe 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, you name it. But that money was just helping to stimulate so much of our economy. So that's why it's important to get it back, not just the national security debate, aside from things as well.
Absolutely. And there's also been a couple of other articles out there that say that oil could go to $100 a barrel by the end of the year. So it makes me feel a little bit better about my $65 that I put out there in March. But at the end of the day, all we're looking for is healthy oil prices to keep everybody to work, the cities, the governments. That's really what it's all about, is for everybody to be happy and generate a good economy to where everybody's happy.
That's right. Yeah, because very clearly here, Russia tried to force American producers out of the market, and they may have done so temporarily, but when they bounce back, that'll send a very strong signal once again, even to Putin and others overseas. Jay Young, great to have you on the show. Thanks so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you, Aaron. Anytime. Thank you very much.